Going on?
Mr. Prime Time, Memorial Day weekend. Where the fuck is the sun at, dude?
I don't know, dude. I was up at 6 o'clock. I was getting my 8 mile jog in. Now I'm fucking hurting, so I haven't even been outside yet.
Dude, I went to the boardwalk today to run, and it was like the wind was so bad. But I'm like, I'm gonna get my run in, right? Dude, I ran 2 miles. Like it was like I ran like 13. The wind was so friggin' strong. Then on the
Yeah,
way back, the wind was blowing so hard. I was like, it was like a gazelle. It was like, where the hell is the sun? Like, you want to sweat, get a suntan, everything else. This is,
yeah. It was perfect when I went. No sun, no wind. I was
oh,
good. So
dude, Jersey Shore is a mess right now. It's terrible. But now we got brighter news, dude. We got Joe Flacco
what?
now.
Oh, all right. So we're gonna start with that, I guess. The one positive news we have. Yeah.
Dude,
What are
that's
your
what you
thoughts
asked
on it?
for, right? I mean, dude, we,
Yeah.
we wanted, everybody kept saying mentor. This is the perfect mentor. And the argument that I hate already is, well, he didn't help Drew Lock. He didn't help Lamar Jackson. The difference is Joe Douglas knows him. Like, you got to think that Joe Douglas had a conversation and said, listen, man, you're not going to be a starter here. We want you to help Sam, help learn the offense, help, read defenses, help be a better quarterback. That conversation had to happen. I mean, Joe Douglas is a smart man. You're not going to bring in a problem. Like, they have a relationship already. Like,
Yeah.
we're getting comments on YouTube like, oh, this is a toxic move. How the fuck is this toxic? Like, it's not toxic at all.
I can't imagine how this could hurt Sam Darnold, having a quarterback in the room that's won a Super Bowl MVP, that's been to the playoffs countless times. How can that possibly hurt Sam Darnold, especially when he came into the league his first year? He had Josh McCown in that quarterback room. He had Teddy Bridgewater in that quarterback room. Two, great leaders, great role models to follow. So get him another voice to listen to, not just Adam Gase and Dowell Loggins to sound off with.
And the other thing too is when Sam walks off the field and he's like disgruntled, whatever else, he's your buffer. He walks to Joe
Yep.
Flacco. They talk about, hey man, did you see this? You see this? He's
Yep.
like, before Adam Gase rips him a new ass or starts yelling at him or whatever they figured out, you have that buffer between them.
That was
And
the
then
Mark Brunell for Mark Sanchez.
exactly. So when Darnold goes to the bench, sits down, they go on the little iPad, whatever it is, they put it, here it is. Here's what I saw. Did you see this? Those little intricacies go a long way, man. Like, I don't see this is not negative at all. The only thing you worry about is, like, according to every report, Flacco's not gonna be ready to play, physically ready to play till late August, early September. So there's a chance week one, if it starts on time, he's not, I mean, he might be active.
Yeah.
So then you're saying, okay, that's not ideal, but still, I mean, it's still a good guy to have on the locker room, good guy to have in the quarterback room. And then you have fails and everything else. The only thing I'm going to go back to, and you're going to probably yell at me, but
James Morgan.
yeah, it's almost like, okay, why do we have him? I mean, in the
Dude,
fourth round, is it really worth it there? Was he that great of a prospect that we needed him so bad?
we could go back to the draft show. I said it as soon as they drafted him. Why not just sign Flacco? And of course, they signed Flacco. And listen, I understand the rosters go from 53 to 55, so you can afford maybe this year to carry three quarterbacks. I'm not denying that.
Not carry four
No,
quarterbacks.
definitely not four, but I can understand carrying three with Morgan holding the clipboard and then whenever Flacco's ready. But I don't think Morgan's going to be ready to play this year. So using a fourth round pick instead of addressing some of the other holes that were on this roster, getting another receiver, some depth on the O line, I think that was much more important than grooming Darnold's potential backup. You know,
Yeah, I don't understand it, but like, and all like, the only thing I'm kind of interested in is what happened with Matt Moore. I mean, Matt Moore is healthy, a better quarterback at this point. That kind of seems like a better fit. Maybe it's money. It seems like the Jets are really, they're like scratching and clawing for every penny, which makes it interesting. But
well, that's a perfect transition into Jamal Adams, I guess. So let me start with this because we both went off, a few nights ago,
I don't know what
and
you're
that
talking about.
read the comments and see all the thumbs down that we were getting. I'm like, holy
101
shit.
comments, dude.
I know. So the one thing I'll say going back on that, some news has come out in the last couple of days,
Happy
and I guess
Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. The one thing that I guess has come out now that people are talking about that I'll acknowledge, if the NFL is going to lose however much revenue this year from not being able to open up stadiums and the salary cap could potentially drop next year, that would be the one reason that the Jets could logically have for saying, all right, we need to wait. If the cap's going to drop $30 million next year, paying Jamal,
I don't think it's
18 to
that
$20
much.
million, I'm saying if it was. Now, if I understand it right, the cap was supposed to go up because of the TV contract
Yep.
that the NFL was going to get. So I don't think it should impact it that drastically. So understanding that plus the amount of cap that the Jets are going to have, I still don't see a reason why you wouldn't pay Jamal Adams.
Yeah, there's a lot of different takes on it, and we appreciate everybody that's giving us feedback. I mean, we've been getting good, bad, and everything else on it. The one interesting thing that actually I did Greg from Massachusetts today, and Greg was awesome. And he was like, listen, man, he's like, his opinion is that what they want to do is they want to trade Jamal, pay Marcus May, and then you have Ashton Davis, and that kind of transitions away where it's like, listen, you move Marcus May, you have Ashton Davis, you get rid of Jamal, and I'm like, dude, that doesn't make any sense.
No, they're the
No
same player.
disrespect to him, but it's
They're
just
they're the same player. According to most of the scouting reports, they're
yeah, it
both
doesn't.
free safeties, high
But in
safety.
terms of the money spent, like say if you can keep Marcus May for say $8 million a year as opposed to 16 or 17 million a year, that $9 million you spend elsewhere.
Yeah,
Then
but is Marcus May going to do the things that Jamal Adams does on the field? Are you going
that
to
was
put
my
him in the
argument.
box? Are you going to blitz him? He doesn't do the things that Jamal Adams does.
That
Only
was my
Jamal
argument.
Adams does those things. So
That was my argument. And to me, it's like, and everybody's like, we can't pay him 20 million a year. Okay, pay him 16. Like the money is like, to me, it's the guarantee money that matters the most, and the Jets can pay it.
Yep.
The contract's not a big deal. None of this is a big deal to me. Like I like, and the other thing that everybody keeps saying is he's only been in the league 3 years. He has to wait another year. The NFL has changed.
Yep.
Contracts have changed. Approaches have changed. It's about pay me now, because you know what? You can cut me next year. And that's the way it works. So it's easy to say, and it's so funny because like it's hard because you can take the player side or the owner side. If you're saying if I'm the player and if I'm Jamal Adams and I just came off an all-pro year and I'm making below my warrant, my value,
Yep.
what would you do, dude? You do the same thing. I want to be paid.
exactly the same
And
thing.
the only leverage he has is to do exactly what he's doing, is creating chaos, saying, I want to be traded or I'm going to hold out. What else can he do? He has no other leverage. And the Jets can say, you know what? We're not going to pay till next year. Fine. And let it get ugly.
I think it's a very interesting topic as far as who has the leverage in this situation because, yeah, the Jets have this year the 5th-year option, and they could tag him for 2 years after that.
Yep.
So ideally, you would say the Jets have all the leverage.
Yep.
But when you look at the Jets over the past 10 years, especially since Jamal's been here the last 3 years, with how dysfunctional they've been, can they really afford to go into training camp this year without their best player there? Can they really afford to play this game of chicken with him and piss him off to the point where he won't sign a contract with us and he will demand a trade? Is that a game that they really want to play?
And what is the league-wide view of us then? Because and that's the thing. Like everybody's like, well, Joe Douglas is establishing his culture. He's a tough line in the sand. Okay, what you're doing is you're alienating your best player in the team, the guy that was your homegrown talent. Even though you didn't draft him, he's your own guy that's earned this.
Yep.
And they're going to say, you know what, you're out. I'm trading you. And okay, that's it just doesn't really reflect well. It makes it look bad for you. It's like a bad taste in your mouth.
And it's not as if there isn't a precedent for players getting a new contract after 3 years. McCaffrey just got his. And even if you don't want to look at McCaffrey, I think it was the Michael K show who was breaking it down a few weeks ago. I think there's been like 16 to 18 different guys that have signed after their 3rd year. I think Tyron Smith was one, and there's a few others. I know there's not as many on the defensive side.
And the argument now is that
Jets, why not?
Well, they're saying, well, Mahomes and Watson aren't doing that. But meanwhile, Mahomes behind the scenes is working on it. They are talking contract.
Yeah.
So it's also quarterbacks too, which is a lot different too. But to me, it's like every situation, every player is different. Every team is different. And the Jets are fighting against not only, Jamal, they're fighting against the perception around the league about them, the fan perception, the media perception. You're fighting all these different things. And I don't know, man. It's going to get so ugly. We know it is. And I don't care about the 3 years. Like, I just think Jamal needs to be paid. Like, and and everybody's like, you can't pay this amount. Like, the amount doesn't really matter. No. Like, to me, like, if he wants 16 million or say 17, the Jets want to pay him 15, that $2 million a year is shit, dude. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not. No.
And we talked about this over and over because you look at what else you have to pay. I mean, like, it's like next year, Le'Veon Bell's contract is gone. Henry Anderson's contract is gone. You have all this money to spend. You have all these one-year contracts can be gone. George Fant could be gone. I mean, there's so many things that can go. And if you're a good general manager, you can do creative accounting to fit whoever you want, whenever you want. How do you think these great teams, like the Rams are paying for it now, but year after year, they were signing all kinds of players, or the Patriots or the Ravens. If they want a guy, they could sign him. It's called creative accounting and being a good general manager.
And the comment that also keeps coming up, which drives me insane. Well, the Jets lost with him, so they can lose without him.
I hate that shit.
That drives me nuts, especially because of the fact that you're getting Mosley back this year. And if Joe Douglas is worth a damn as a GM, and he does do his job and gets an edge rusher in here, or some of these cornerbacks work out, imagine Jamal with more talent around him, what kind of impact he would have on the field.
And that was my argument too. I get the same thing where it was like, oh, well, look, the defense wasn't that good with him. Well, actually, they were pretty good. And they were without one of their best players. So that best player's coming back, plus better corners. Jamal could actually be that much better. He can go from 7 sacks to 10 sacks. Yep. He could be like a ridiculously big force now. Yep. I hate that argument too, because then my spin is, well, then what is Sam Darnold? If Jamal Adams is on the defense and they're not that good, Sam Darnold was on the offense and they were the worst in football. What does that mean? So your argument doesn't mean shit. It's a stupid argument.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's going to get ugly, and everybody's going to take sides. And, to me, if anything, like everybody wants to say it's not like the Revis situation. It's exactly like the Revis situation. Revis was the best player at his position in the NFL. I understand corners a much higher, like a much different position than the safety position. But Jamal's that good, dude. He's the best safety. He's one of the best in football.
Yeah.
And he's so versatile and so dynamic.
Yeah, and I understand both sides of it, but like putting aside Jets fandom, if I was in Jamal Adams' shoes, why in the hell would I give the Jets the benefit of the doubt and play this last year on my rookie contract and risk getting hurt and risk losing my big payday? What has the Jets organization done for me? I've given them everything over the first 3 years, above and beyond. What have they given back? I look like a jackass every time I'm in front of the media answering questions about why this team isn't showing up.
Justifying losing.
Exactly. So why am I giving something to the Jets organization when they've given me shit back? That's how I would view it if I was in Jamal Adams' shoes.
And the one thing I didn't like, and if anybody knows that follows us, is the media plays games. The Jets leak stories. Jamal's agent is leaking a shitload of stories.
Yep.
But the whole story now where the Jets say, we want you to be a good soldier this year. Yep. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, seriously, like, let's not go down this path. He's the first guy in, last guy out. He does everything right on and off the field. He's giving you heart and soul to this and dealt with a shitload of losing. Like, losing fucking sucks. And he doesn't like it. And and the fact that
he's the last guy that I'd worry about giving money to. And then
the quote was, he rubbed some players the wrong way. Listen, if he's pissed off about losing and that bothers you, you should be in the locker room anyway.
Yep.
Like, you want guys like that aren't happy about losing. That are, and the only question I have, and I'm starting to wonder about this more and more, is what is his relationship with Adam Gase? And this is not, I hate an Adam Gase story. It's just like, maybe he's like, you know what? I don't buy into this coach. I'm not buying what he's selling. I don't believe in him. And I don't want to deal with this shit. His rules suck. We're not winning. And I don't want to deal with it. Is that a factor too? Where he's like, you know what? I want to go to my hometown in Dallas. Like, this is what I want. Like, if I'm not going to get paid enough to tolerate Adam Gase and this losing, then I want out.
It definitely could be a factor. I would just hope that his relationship with Greg Williams hopefully would have more of an impact, because he does respect the hell out of Greg Williams. He's been very vocal about that. So, Greg Williams is basically the head coach of the defense. So hopefully that relationship would have more weight than however often he deals with Adam Gase, I would hope.
And then this is where Joe Douglas has to come in. Yep. Joe Douglas, as the overseer of all this bullshit, is got to be like, all right, listen, we gotta squash this, and we got to figure it out and give you some guidance and say, listen, and tell Jamal, listen, man, this is a make or break year for our team. If it doesn't work out, we want you here, and we could make changes. Like, you got to give him a vision, dude. Like, you got to sell something here. And
it's funny you brought up the comment about, him rubbing teammates the wrong way, because I had the same reaction. Like, we had just watched the Last Dance documentary. Like, how many of Michael Jordan's teammates were pissed off, that he rubbed them the wrong way? That was his attitude in practice. Like, whenever they lost, he brought like a different mentality. Losing was not acceptable, and if that rubbed you the wrong way, get the fuck out. Like, that's what you want in the locker room. You know what I mean?
That's what Parcells was like, dude.
Yeah.
I used to go to Hofstra and watch him. He would grind people. Yeah. And like when they lost or played like shit, dude, the practice would be unbearable. Yep. And if you didn't like it, you were gone. If you didn't buy in and you weren't a part of the solution, you're out. If you're okay with losing, like getting blown out, like I'm seeing ghosts, I'm doing this, we're getting blown out on national television, and you go to the locker room and you're cool with shit, everything's fine, and it's like another day in the park, then you're part of the problem.
Yep.
That's the culture we're talking about. If it rubs you the wrong way because he's too emotional, too passionate, fuck off. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't like everybody in it. What I don't understand is for the first couple of years, everything Jamal did, everybody loved. Great on social media. He's passionate, all this. He's done everything we've asked. But now that it's coming down to money and paying him, he's a diva. He's this, everything they like about him. Now they're holding it against him. It makes no sense.
Dude. Again, like we bring up the Revis situation, and I can still remember a lot of people that wanted to trade Revis because he was asking for too much money. And then as soon as he was eventually gone, we regretted that pretty much that same year. We drafted D. Milliner, and that was a complete bust, and we've been searching for corners ever since. So,
he's only a safety it blows my mind, because he's the kind of player that all these people that want him gone, once he's gone, give it about 3 or 4 games, like, oh, my God, we missed Jamal. Oh, I wish we had this. I wish that we couldn't find his replacement. We need this. We need that. And you have it in the building already. Like, it's just – I'll never understand it. And we'll see, man. It's just this is gonna get ugly. It's gonna get very, very ugly.
I think so too. Yep.
And then if they trade him this year after the draft,
and that's also kind of what worries me. Like, I don't think they have any intention of trading him just by all the reports that are coming out. It doesn't seem like they want to trade him. It's just that they prefer to wait on signing him, which, again, if I was Jamal, my first response to that's going to be, okay, I'm holding out. I'm not going to show up to training camp. And is that the direction that we really want to go down?
And if he has another all-pro year, does his price tag go up?
That's what I don't know what the salary cap's going to be next year, but if all circumstances are the same, yeah, the salary cap's going to go up and that contract is going to go up. That's the way it works.
I mean, in theory, with Mosley in front of him, he's going to have a shitload better season than he had this year. Like, in theory, he could have a much better year in terms of, like, Neil, he led the league in like 3 different categories. He could have a better year this year and say, you know what? I wanted $15 million a year. You made me wait. I didn't want to. Now I want 19 or 20.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't care. And the other thing is too, like, I don't care about what happened the last 15 years in the NFL. Like, who signed what or who needed what or what team did that. I don't even care. Like, you're the New York Jets, and this is the situation that you're in. And you have a player that's valued that you should keep. Like the Panthers took care of McCaffrey, but like you got to look at who's a player, what's the position, what is the impact on and off the field for us going forward.
And part of the reason, though, that they're in this situation is their own doing, being dysfunctional for, ever since Jamal Adams got drafted. That's all he's known is dysfunction as part of this organization.
Yep.
If the Jets were run differently and he experienced winning here, I don't think we're having this conversation right now.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Another thing I don't understand is the Jets' potential interest in Devontae Freeman. I don't know what we're doing with that. I like Devontae Freeman. I'd rather have him over Frank Gore. I don't understand what our infatuation with running backs is right now. Why not look at wide receivers? Bring in 2 more of them.
What wide receivers are really out there? I guess that they
Taylor Gabriel, Paul Richardson, anybody, dude.
Gabriel, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I guess with Freeman, you can make an argument that just because Gore's contract isn't guaranteed, or just the unknown of P. Ryan, a rookie, you have that insurance there. But again, like just the fact that they didn't use Bell last year and even the backups that they had, Montgomery, Powell, who were more than qualified, who performed very well throughout training camp, they didn't get any touches. So, giving any significant money to Freeman, I think would be kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like you see all these rumors being leaked out, and it's like the weird thing is there's not many rumors about pass rushers, which we've talked about endlessly. Like to me, it's like I give Joe Douglas a lot of credit. Step by step, all the things we've complained about over the last 3 weeks, he's addressed them. Took a little time, but that's fine. But now this is like the last piece. Like to me, pass rusher is it. Like you give me Marcus Golden, and I'm happy as hell. Like then it's like, all right, we're gonna go training camp with most of our holes addressed on paper. And then you see how we coach them up. But that would be the missing piece for me.
I would still sign Logan Ryan over Marcus Golden.
Why?
I just think based on their careers, Logan Ryan is a more impactful player. So you put him in the second. He would easily become your top corner, I think. He also gives you some versatility with Brian Poole. Both guys can play slot or the outside. I think it makes plenty of sense. Golden, he's had 2 great years, and other than that, he really hasn't done a whole lot.
What about Everson Griffin? Another guy. Like just legitimate pass rushers, man.
I prefer to put all my assets into a pass rusher next year, whether it's, your first round picks.
Your secondary is only as good as your pass rush.
Quinn Williams, Henry Anderson, pass rush up the middle.
Jesus Christ. So then, my other question for you is, we've done a lot of fan series interviews. We've probably done like 20 of them so far total between both of us. Anything that's surprising you? Anything that like any trend or anything that surprised you that if did?
Not that it's surprising. I kind of expected it, but just hearing all the painful stories. I mean, for me, there's always been a part that's like appreciated, like all the shit that we've gone through for the eventual day. If we ever get there, I think it'll all be worth it. So yeah, just kind of hearing how everyone's just been in the same boat. It's been nothing but misery, being a Jet fan, and how those few moments where they were good, whether it's 2009, 2010, or if you go back to 1998, just how much those moments stand out. Because there are so few of them, No,
I agree. And I think almost every person said the same thing. It's like when they finally win it, this party is going to be epic. Like it's going to be like a 1 week just binge of just chaos. But yeah, it's interesting. Everybody has like that moment where like it seemed like everybody felt broken last year. I think that starts to last season. I admit it broke me. Like I went off the rails because I just couldn't take anymore. But everybody had like a glimmer of hope, wanted to see Sam do well. You finally have your franchise quarterback. And almost every person said, you know what, last year just got to me. Like it just got to everybody. We're like, you know what, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of incompetence. The 7-2 ending didn't mean shit to me. You know what I mean? Like, it just, everybody said, or 6-2, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Everybody said the same thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it was every direction. It was on the field, it was off the field, every press conference, like you name it. Like they looked dysfunctional at every single turn last year. So yeah, I mean, it was hard to get away from.
And the other thing is too, is when you ask for expectations from everybody, everybody's kind of saying the same thing. Nobody's saying like 10-6, 11-5. Everybody's kind of in that 6, 7, 8 win thing where it's like, and
I find that interesting because last year we had a lot of calls that were calling in, 9-7, 10-6, expected to at least compete for the division. So now we're getting Mosley back, we're getting Herndon back. Joe Douglas ideally has fixed the offensive line. So why wouldn't expectations go up this year? The reason I think everybody's lowering their expectations is because of the unknown at head coach.
I mean, even everybody's saying the schedule is kind of an issue, but everybody's like, we don't want excuses. Like the schedule can't be an excuse for you, which I agree with 1,000%. It's the coach. Yeah. And it is what it is. And it's not being negative. It's like, even like the one we just did with James 2 seconds ago, he said the same thing. It's like, he's been a coach for 5 years now, or I think it's 5 years, right?
Yeah. This will be his 5th year. Yeah.
It's like, all right, is as a head coach, what is his track record? He's got to prove himself as a head coach that he can win in the NFL. Like, establish a winning franchise or organization, have a winning game plan week in and week out, and prove yourself. And he's got to do it this year. It has to happen this year. This is it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the other thing. I'm trying to think what else on the interviews, expectations, the whole thing in Gase. The other thing too is the weird thing is especially on Twitter is so many people ripping Sam, and it's the most absurd thing that I've ever like. I have one pet peeve is when you send me one clip on YouTube, like, look, this is where Sam blew it. Okay. He had how many snaps in this game? 60? And you're going to show me, or 40, 45, 50? And you're showing me one. But there's so many people now that are so critical of Sam to the point where there's conversations about what veteran quarterback do we bring in next year to compete with him.
Drives me nuts.
Like we can't have good things.
No.
Like he's the most talented quarterback we've had in eons. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we're to the point we're talking about like a Mitch Trubisky kind of level quarterback.
We're treating him the same way we've treated every other quarterback that we've drafted, except I think there's a significant difference in Darnold's ability versus a Geno Smith and all these other guys that
Sanchez and everybody.
Yeah. So again,
I'll never understand it.
We've been there for training camp. I think like when we've seen him in an offense that, is running up tempo, which again, they did almost every single day of training camp last year. It still boggles my mind that once the regular season started, for whatever reason, like they got away from that. They weren't going up tempo. They were taking like 30 seconds to get out of the huddle.
They didn't use Ty Montgomery. They didn't do.
Yeah, all this stuff that they did in training camp where they were beating the defense more days than the defense beat the offense. None of that, transferred over to the season, whether it was mono, throwing things off, I don't know. But again, there's no excuses this year. And I think that falls more on Gase to unlock Darnold's potential than it does on Darnold, kind of telling Gase to fuck off. I'm just going to do it my way. Expecting him at 23 years old to do that, I don't know how realistic that is. I think all the abilities there. I think it's more on Adam Gase to unlock it now.
Yeah, I don't understand these doubters now. All of a sudden, these critics come out of the woodwork. Well, he's not this, he's not that. I'm like, dude, not to make excuses for him, but he's been through, even like I did an interview with Greg today from Massachusetts, and he was like, dude, you cannot ask for a worse 2 years in terms of just turmoil and just chaos, changing coaches, changing systems, offensive line problems, the debacle on Monday Night Football or on primetime football. I mean, you name it, it's gone wrong for Sam so far. Mono out of blue, which is complete ridiculous. So you look at all of that, and he still weathered it, and he still got through it. He kept his composure. He still was good to media, still good to his teammates, came in every day, did his job. You look at all of that, what he's weathered so far as a young quarterback with limited experience in college. It's not like he's like a 5-year starter in college or 4 years. I mean, he only had a couple years.
Yeah.
He weathered all of that, and he's still here standing with an arrogant, stubborn head coach now that doesn't really support him in the media, kind of throws him to the fucking wolves.
Yeah, I mean, for everything that went wrong, he still was 7-6 last year. He still finished the year, I think it was 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions over the last like 7 or 8 games. So there was some progress there. In spite of everything that went wrong, no offensive line, no weapons, he was still showing you some progress. So
and he makes throws where you're like, holy shit! Like I've never seen that before.
Yep. And again, imagine what he could do with a true offensive mind, kind of leading him and maximizing his talent, letting him roll out more and do those things that he does so well.
Yeah, that's the one topic. And like I said, all the people that watch on YouTube that's going to watch these and subscribe, be sure you subscribe to this. The comments ripping Sam, I'll never understand it. I'll go back at you every time.
Yep.
Just the age, potential, and everything else. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
So, trying to think what else on the interviews. Like that was it, though. I mean, they've all been great. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Anyone else? If you want to join in on the series,
Yeah.
leave a comment. We'll try to get to you. And yeah, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
Hey, right here.
Keep drinking.
I'm already
About to go start now. Try
get
and catch
to it,
up.
man. Come on, let's go. Believe to achieve.
All right, talk to you later.
Later, dude.